Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Mackie, and I'm going to be your moderator and support during this training. Many of you are used to hearing Natasha's name. Natasha is taking a break for maternity leave right now. We're sending much metta to Natasha and her baby, but I'll be here, so you might be seeing my name, and please reach out, of course, to hello at banyan.com. I want to take a moment just to appreciate everyone for being here today and also for everyone who can't attend these sessions live because of time zone differences or other commitments. We just really appreciate it and really appreciate everyone for making it halfway through the training. If you can believe it or not, we're at the midpoint, which is really quite amazing. And regarding the midpoint, we sent out a midpoint feedback survey for the program. We have about 60 responses so far, and if you haven't filled it out yet, we'd love to hear from you. This feedback really helps us evolve the program and make changes to improve your experience even during the program. So your open and honest feedback is really appreciated. So as usual, we'll start with a welcome today and an opening meditation from our teacher, Jack, followed by a brief overview of Module 5. And then we'll have about 15 minutes or so in the breakout rooms. And then we'll come back to the main room with some Q&A for Jack. And then Jack will lead us in a closing.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Mackie, is there more you need to say?
Yeah, going to just do your introduction, Jack, if that's okay, just for people if maybe this is the first time that they've joined a live session. Everyone probably knows you by now, but we'll just do a reminder. So Jack is trained as a Buddhist monk in monasteries of Thailand, India, and Burma. He's taught meditation internationally since 1974 and is one of the key teachers to introduce Buddhist mindfulness practice to the West. Jack co-founded the Insight Meditation Society with fellow meditation teachers Sharon Salzberg and Spirit Rock. And we are also so fortunate to have Jack as our co-founder of our wonderful Banyan community. And along with Tara Brock, he leads the MMTCP program. And he also holds a PhD in clinical psychology. He's a father, a husband, and an activist. So with that, Jack,
Thank you.
it's wonderful to have you here today, and thank you for your teachings. And I'll turn it over to you when you're ready.
Great. Actually, grandfather, which is also very sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Trudy and I were traveling. We just got back from being in India, going to a conference on AI with the Dalai Lama and a number of Tibetan lamas and elders, contemplatives, and then a number of AI scientists trying to figure out how to steer AI so that it would benefit humanity. And somebody asked the Dalai Lama, do you think AI can feel compassion? And of course, he's not like an expert in that, but he reflected and he said, well, can it feel pain? And the response was no. He said, well, if it doesn't feel pain, then it probably won't have real compassion, which was an interesting answer. You know, we're sort of engaged with the technology world with two different kinds of minds, if you will. Anyway, we came back. We just turned 80 this summer. We look at each other and say, wow, 80. If there's anything we want to do, we better get to it. Um, and I'm happy to see you. I'm on my way back, and usually I wear a black shirt when I teach, but we stopped in Hawaii. So I'm I'm in Hawaii and it's kind of wonderful. Anyhow, glad to see you and I'm glad for this program. Um, let's start with a meditation, and it's going to be a guided meditation that I may have done some before. I don't have the notes of what I did the last time I met with you, um, but I'm happy to repeat it because it turns out that repetition is one of the best educational tools to actually learn something. If somebody comes to you and they want to learn meditation, it's not like saying, okay, I'm going to learn guitar and you show them the chords and then they can play. They really have to practice. And so there's some interesting things to learn from this approach, and I'll unpack it a tiny bit afterwards. So for 10, 15 minutes, let's do this as a way to start. Um, please let your eyes close gently. Sit in a stable way where your body feels solid on the seat, connected with the earth beneath you. Take a couple of long breaths. Let the eyes and face be soft. Loosen the jaw. Roll your head in a little bit of a circle to release your neck. Let it find a simple upright. Let the shoulders relax and the arms and hands rest easily. Feel the weight of your body and how you're completely supported by the seat and the earth below. You can rest just here, steady and stable. Let the belly be soft and the breath natural. And let the heart be soft as well to receive whatever arises with kindness. And allow things to begin to calm or quiet down. Sense how your body is breathing itself. And with each breath, you can whisper ease or calm as an invitation. And as you settle, maybe put a half smile on your face and notice what happens as you do that and say calm or ease softly. Now open your mindful attention, your loving awareness to the whole field of your body, to how your body feels just now, the areas of warm and cool, the areas of ease and tension, the places that carry stress, the vibrations, the living feeling of this body just now. And wrap the whole body in all you feel with kindness and compassion. You're not trying to fix it or change it, but you're attending with a mindful, loving attention, compassion and kindness. You can feel how much your body carries. And as if to make a bow, you can say thank you to your body. Thank you for carrying so much. It's okay. I'm good right now. I'm meditating. You can relax. Thank you. You can relax. It's okay. And notice what happens when you invite your body to relax with a sense of gratitude and compassion. Now bring your attention to your heart and mind. They're the same word in Sanskrit, heart, mind. And notice what's the state of your heart right now, and the state of your mind, busy thinking, the heart with its emotions, longing, worry, joy, ease. And as you notice with loving awareness, let the heart and mind be at ease. And feel all the emotions and things and concerns that are being carried. And as if to wrap the heart mind with compassion, say thank you. Thank you for carrying all this, the sadness and the joy, the thoughts, plans. Thank you. Thank you for trying to take care of me. I'm okay just now. You can relax. And wrap the heart mind with compassion, kindness for all it does. Thank you. You can rest. I'm okay just here and now. I'm meditating. Relax. Be at ease. And if the heart and mind had a message for you right now, something it wants you to know or remember that's important, what would it be? You can know. And in the same open, listening way, if your body has a message for you right now. A reminder, something important. What does it want you to know or listen to, tell you? You can know. And again, let there be a sense of ease, a half smile, a graciousness in the body and heart and mind. When you're ready, let your eyes open gently. So we kind of went through the first part of the four foundations of mindfulness, taking some deeper breaths, helping people come into the present, relaxing, bringing in the quality of ease and calm with the breath. Even though there might be a lot of things stirred up, the invitation changes things. And then attending to the body, not to try to change it, but to be really aware. What's here? What is it carrying? What does it feel like? And holding it with compassion, letting it have a sense of respect and ease, saying thank you for carrying so much, for taking care of me. And then the same for the heart and mind. I made it relatively quick because we have other things to do today. If I had taken another 10 minutes, we would have separated and done the heart and then the mind, and then step back to sense yourself as the loving witness of it all, going through the foundations of mindfulness so that you notice and become resting in the awareness, the loving awareness itself that notices the body, the breath, the heart and mind. And people start to get the sense, oh, who I am is not just the passing emotions or thoughts or sensations. Who I am is the awareness itself. And then, of course, you can, when you get a little quiet, you can get information asking, what does the heart or the mind want you to remember? Or what does the body want you to remember? And very often, not all the time, when you tune in, you'll get a message, you'll get understanding or information. It doesn't take long. How many had a sense of a message from your body or your heart when you raised your hand when you asked? Most of the hands went up. This was 10 minutes. We went through, half of a mindfulness retreat and a deep inquiry, and mostly just helping people really get into the present with a listening, with a loving awareness. So before we go any further, any questions or comments about that, you can put them in the chat. Mackie, if you could make sure the chat is open. And you can raise your hand if we'll take a question from somebody or a description of what happened to you, an experience. How was that? Does that remind you of how you can invoke and invite a kind of presence that's really um, deep in a very short time? A great reminder how quickly people can tune in. Yes, nourishing. We're seeing in the chat. Well, I don't see any hands up. I have a strong sense of what it means to find belonging equanimity, made me stop resisting my tiredness. Gorgeous. Because there you are, when you hold your tiredness with compassion and say, thank you for taking care of me, everything changes. Can we do this meditation with people who have difficulties in their body? Absolutely. You feel the difficulties. And in an honorable way, you wrap them in compassion and say, it's been so hard. Thank you for keeping going. Like someone says, compassion for my aging body. My body asking for rest. I felt sad and my heart said it was okay to feel sad. When I asked, I was told that it's not just that I am loved, but that I am loved. All right, so we'll pause here. We could go on. This is beautiful. And this is really a dialogue that we're having about your skill and capacity to invite people um, into the power of loving awareness, of mindfulness, that in a few minutes you can become present and open and hold your whole life and listen and get messages and wrap the difficult things in compassion so they can begin to feel respected and ease, kind of trust. So now I want to talk a little bit about some of the content of these middle section of MMT. And I have to ask you, did I tell the story of Arturo Bihar at Facebook who had all the complaints department? Raise your hand if you heard that. Okay, no. Okay, I'll start with that. So Arturo Bihar was a great guy and a friend. And for a time he was, excuse me, I think a vice president at Facebook. Um, and he was partly in charge of problem solving. So he said, with at that time 980 million users, he was kind of the complaints department. We'd get about 1 million complaints a day or a week, as you can imagine. He said a third of them were technical problems. And he said, I turned them over to the engineers and they fixed them. That's what engineers do. Okay. But 2/3 of them were problems people had with each other. You posted a picture of my daughter and I didn't want you to do that. You said that about me and I hated that. You told it, you know how people are. You know that they're kind, right? And so he said, what do I do to solve this? And at first, he sent out the company policy. Nothing that's lewd or lascivious can be posted. Nothing that's aggressive and attacking and hurtful can be posted. It didn't work. That's just not not how people learn. And then he realized, he said, the problem is that people aren't listening to each other. So his next move was to say, all right, if you have a concern, please go back to the person that you have a concern with and do 3 things. First, express that you have a concern about it, and note how you feel. When you did that, I felt unsafe, or I felt attacked, or I felt undermined, or whatever it was. Note how you feel or sad, and then get curious and ask them what made them do it. So he started with that, and then he soon realized that people didn't know what they felt. So he sent a bunch of little emojis out of happy, sad, frightened, whatever, to help them become aware of what they were feeling. And then as people started to respond, the woman would say, well, I posted a picture of your daughter and family because I thought they looked beautiful, and I'm sorry that it bothered you. I'll take it down. Or somebody else replied and said, I put this up because I thought it was something that was really interesting. It would show who you are, what you're doing, um, and that's why I did it. And very often when they started this conversation, all the conflict would start to dissolve and they'd get real with each other in a caring and thoughtful way. And as Arturo said, I'm beginning to teach social and emotional learning to 980 million people. And I tell this story because this is part of this middle section of MMT, where we're talking about how to deal with the difficulties that arise in our groups and in people's practice. And part of what matters as we do it is first to acknowledge that it's there. And if something comes up, one of your most powerful tools is to simply pause and say, let's take a pause for a moment. Somebody bursts out or gets angry or a conflict arises or they get upset with you or whatever. And before you even try to do anything or fix it or tend it, your first thing is just to take a pause and say, let's take a pause here and notice what's happening. And then you can name it. Somebody shouted, maybe some of you feel, upset. How are you feeling right now before you go into content at all? You're not trying to solve it. What you're using is the power of presence, of a mindful pause, and then directing attention to what's present now without going into the story. You said this about Palestine, and you said this about Israel, or you said this about, you know, Trump, and you said this about the liberals, or whatever, all the hot button things, or something. Say, let's take a pause. How does it feel to just have this in the room? Can we hold this with some respect and kindness? And the point is, you're not trying to resolve it or solve it, but you're going to the field of mindful, loving awareness and say, we can hold this. And already, even if somebody's kind of riled up, because there's a collective attention of kindness, um, things start to cool down a little bit. You create the space of loving awareness. And then, as it was mentioned in the curriculum, if you got through that, they're the principles from nonviolent communication of observing what's happening. It seems like this is a scary moment, or some people are charged, or there's a conflict here. What are the feelings present in the room? You can get curious and have people name their hands. I hate this, or I'm sad. I thought this would be a protected space. I want to run away. I'm frightened. And then what do you all think would be the best direction? This is kind of the needs for the group, for us when these things arise. Again, you're not at all going into the content of it, but instead you're noticing. And people will take the different roles, the aggressor and the victim, and some will put people down and things. And you just notice this is what we do as human beings. How does this feel? And what happens if we hold it with compassion? All of it. And then what would be a wise response? So, what I'm suggesting to you, just as we did when we sat in that guided meditation, that your teaching in the group is actually a meditation practice. It's not like you're up there teaching them and, solving their problems, but it's as if you're saying, let's practice together. As we have a conversation, as things come up, this is the place where we can bring compassion, where we can bring a mindful, loving attention, where we can bring a deep listening observation. So I've been blabbing for half an hour. Um, let's see, before we go to some breakout groups and then have some real dialogue, anything any one of you wants to say or ask, you can raise your little virtual hand. Or how's this sound? I'm then this thought occurred to me, am I repeating things that you already know? And then the next thought said, good. These are the things that we need to kind of reflect on regularly. I see somebody's hand up.
Yeah,
Let's
Jack,
try it.
we have Lisa.
Hi,
Lisa,
Lisa.
Hello, it's an honor to be talking with you, Jack.
Hi,
Hi,
where are
I,
you?
I am in Santa Cruz, California.
Okay.
Um, and I'm curious to know, like, when things do get kind of heated or out of control, just if you could give us some guidelines around maybe interrupting people if it's required.
Yeah, what kind of group do you lead?
I lead a group of folks who were just recently laid off from the federal budget cuts.
Ouch. Well, okay. Um, so there's a couple of things, and then I'll ask you a question. Um, it really helps in the beginning to have ground rules
Yeah.
and to say if things start to get heated up, I want to let you know that I will raise my hand and just say, let's take a pause. And it's not that I want to put anybody down or disrespect anyone, but we're actually here to learn how to practice and be with one another in a divided time. So it's really helpful to set the ground rules because then you have permission and you're not butting in where someone feels like you're dissing them or putting them down, right? Here's the moment. And then you can move to what I said. You can name what's happened, what would happen if we hold this compassion, and so forth. Can you give me a scenario now that you can imagine coming up or that you've seen?
Well, I haven't had the experience of this happening yet, but I'm anticipating someday.
Yeah. Well, give me an imagined one.
Yeah, I guess I could see maybe people just not following the ground rules, which I do set, but maybe wanting to give each other feedback in a way that's not constructive, and then that turning into something that is more of a conflict.
Sure. Sure. Okay, close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself in the group. And there's already some tension coming. Someone says some stuff about whatever it is, you know, the current politics of the libs and the MAGA, or someone says something about this or that, and the temperature in the room rises and and there you are. Okay, feel yourself there. And now sense what the wisest part of you would do. You can know.
Yeah, I mean, I just imagine myself just asking everyone to take a breath,
Yeah.
and in that, really slowing myself down too.
Yes, great.
Um, and even slowly then speaking to the group, like taking that pause to really slowly come back to speaking, hoping that the tension naturally dissipates from the breath and the pause.
All right, that's beautiful. And it's great that you could feel it inside. One more suggestion. This turns it on its head a little. You can smile and say, oh, I'm glad that there's a little conflict in this room
Okay.
because we need to learn to deal with that in our society, our country, our family. So this is fine. Let's practice with this. So instead of everybody, oh shit, what's she going to do? And she's thinking, how am I going to handle this? Will it get out of control? You welcome it. You say, oh, cool. We've got a little conflict. This is partly what we're here to learn.
Yeah,
And so you name it and you actually embrace it and say, yeah, there's something for us to learn here. Let's see that. How's that sound?
that sounds very good, very nourishing. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, good luck with your group because there's a lot of pain in that group,
Yeah,
and a lot of fear.
yeah,
And just helping people realize that they're bigger than that story, that they can hold the fear and pain and who they are is actually a wise human being going through a hard time, like you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Mackie, we were going to divide people into groups for 15 minutes or so. And there was a prompt for the group.
Yes.
Um, do you want to say it out loud and I'll see if it still sounds right?
Sure. Yeah. So the plan for the next 15 minutes or so is to divide you into breakout rooms of 3 people. Whoever has the brightest color shirt should share first. So about 5 minutes per person. Assign maybe one timekeeper just to make sure you stay on track. And the questions or the prompts are please share what you are worried about in leading a group. And then what would the wisest part of you respond to that concern? And that those are in the chat and we'll drop those also into the breakout room when you're in there too, just in case. So they're alive for you.
And this is exactly what we were just discussing together with Lisa. So now you get to learn from one another. There's a kind of collective wisdom. Enjoy your breakout, and then we'll come back and see what people learned and then have some dialogue one-on-one.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll put you in breakout rooms and see you in 15 minutes. The main room in about 30 seconds. So thank you for your patience.
And even as people come back, you can put into the chat anything that you learned in your group that was useful or meaningful.
Okay, Jack, I think everyone should be back. So welcome back, everyone. We're going to move into Q&A with Jack. And for those of you who might have missed the prompt before, Jack was just saying to share any common themes or learnings from the breakout rooms and just placing those into the chat as well.
Yeah, anything that seemed useful. The importance of how practically helpful the tools are. Embracing, I don't know, that's fantastic because then you can be curious. And that's the game when things are happening. Let's get curious. That's actually where people learn. Beautiful. We all suffer from imposter syndrome, exactly. Letting go of perfectionism, which is being vulnerable in yourself, being supportive to others, even when you don't know the answers. Mostly people don't need the answers, they need love. But anyway, how to be compassionate with those whose opinions are different from those, but even harmful to those we love and hold dear. That's a really powerful one because here they are, human beings, and sometimes they're causing suffering. But the first step, rather than othering them, is to bring a kind of compassionate presence and realize they're doing what they're doing out of their own suffering and maybe out of their own confusion and ignorance. But you can't judge it so much. To start with, it's just that common approach of being honest and human and vulnerable. Beautiful things in the chat. The effectiveness of a pause when someone's angry. Oh, someone asked a lovely question. Where does it, to help name something, where does it hurt? Beautiful question. Yeah. So we're tending one another and we're modeling or creating the space of loving awareness. All right, I see some hands going up. Let's go to some dialogue.
How about Katrina?
Hi,
Thank you.
Katrina.
Hi, Jack.
Where are you?
I'm in Duluth, Minnesota.
Oh, wonderful. Has it gotten wintry yet?
You know what's really interesting today? It's like 52 degrees and sunny, and it's
Wow,
typically about 30. So, but we've had northern lights for the last few nights. That's quite a show.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's really an honor to just be in your presence.
Well, thank you. Glad to meet you. So
Yeah.
what's cooking?
Yeah. So the 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 challenge that I tend to have is around managing my um, tendency, my sort of automatic internal tendency that I find to often maybe take on um, pain that is not really mine to hold. So, with open-heartedness, either in a group setting or one-on-one, I find that I have hypersensitivity in general. And so at times I find that when there is a discord or some really challenging dynamic with an individual or in a group, it will sort of create at times a cascade of physical pain in my body that can often lead to like a pretty immediate reaction.
Hmm.
And so I'm looking for, yeah, support and suggestions about how to approach that with a loving awareness.
Well, I want to answer you, but I really want to thank you for the question because it's not just yours, and it's very easy to kind of take on things or even get burned out trying to be compassionate, right? Or being with, what kind of groups do you run?
I run groups with nonprofit leaders who are working sort of on the front lines of community. And so they're very burnt out.
Yes. Okay, so this is important. Trudy and I have been teaching at a place called the Oslo Freedom Forum, which takes place in Norway, where the Nobel Peace Prize is given. But instead of one person getting the prize, they bring 40 people together who would be eligible for it. Um, and the reason that we've been there is the same question. They're amazing people, and they're from Venezuela and Somalia and Myanmar and, Central African Republic and various places in the world where there's tremendous conflict. Many of them have been imprisoned or tortured, and they take it inside. Um, this great woman activist who organized for the rainforest in her country, she was able to organize 1 million students to change the government policy. But the problem was every time a big part of the rainforest was set on fire, started to burn, um, her body would get sick. And I said, that's the wrong place for the fire to be. You have to actually leave it outside your body. So I'm just saying this because your question is such a relevant one. So what can you do? Hmm. I have a handful of suggestions, but first close your eyes and picture yourself in a room with these burned out nonprofit leaders who probably are also a little bit on their edge. They can get really upset because their funding is going and they're whatever. And there you are trying to help lead this group. And they pour out some of their suffering, right? And then how does your body feel? You said,
Yeah, it, I can feel like my heart rate does slightly increase.
yeah, your heart rate goes up, you feel stressed, and it could accumulate. So now what's the wisest part of you suggest? It says, hi, Katrina, remember this. What does it tell you?
Yeah, I think it tells me that I my birthright is to feel safe and to be compassionate toward myself.
Yes, so listen to that. And when you remember that in that moment, with all the pain that's around you, how does it help you? What happens?
It creates a more spacious sensation.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it also sort of releases some of that gripping
Yes.
might be feeling, especially in my head.
Yes. So feel this, because this is beautiful. There's a part of you that knows a lot about this already, that has wisdom, and you want to be able to access it in the group, which is why we're doing it out loud. So you can kind of remind yourself, yeah, I know how to do this. Now, a couple of other things that might be helpful. One, I'm going to say is sort of weird, but I recommend it. Um, and that is when you run your group, I think in the middle or on the side or something, should make a place where you ask the members of the group to give you the names of the figures um, who most inspire them. And you can say it might be Gandhi, or might be the Dalai Lama, or it might be, you know, um, it might be Mother Mary, right? Or Kuan Yin, or it might be, and have them write it on a paper, each one, a little piece, and put them somewhere and say, this is part of our guiding light. We're not the first people to be activists, right? These are the names of the activists of thousands of years, and they've all had a hard time. So now you make this place where you have this, and you ask the group to pause and say, you may feel like you have to hold it in yourself. How many of you feel that? Now I invite them to feel the lineage that Dr. King and Gandhi and, Mother Mary, whatever, um, they've been carrying these for centuries. And you don't have to carry it in your body. You can feel it. And in some way, close your eyes and imagine you can do it right now too. That you can take the suffering that you honor and put it in the lap of Gandhi and Mother Mary or whoever it happens to be and say, you've done this, please hold this for me so I can work well. It's like you have backup. How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds really helpful.
So these are a couple things. The last thing to say is that you need to crowdsource your answer. I could give you 5 other things you could do, like sweep through your body at the end of every session, go and take a shower after you had a group and offer it to Mother Mary, or go outside and touch the earth, all kinds of things you could do. Um, but you want to crowdsource it. You want to turn to the group and say, I'm experiencing this. How many of you are? Ooh, most of the hands go up. What have you learned? What have we learned that help? And not only do you have a place where you have, Mother Mary and Dr. King, but you might have another place where you write down, these are the things that we all know have helped. And when we start to feel the pain, the hurt that we carry, let's take a pause and take that advice. Okay, let's carry it with compassion. Let's leave it to the ancestors, whatever, and let the group help you do that so they teach each other. How are you doing?
Good.
You ready to go back in the trenches?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katrina. All right, let's see who's next.
Okay, Jack, how about Ben?
Great. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Jack.
Where are you?
I'm in London.
Oh, great. It's evening there, huh? Or night?
It is, yeah, it's just gone 9.
Yeah.
It's
Well, good. Yeah, so what's up for you, please?
it's great to talk to you. So I was just discussing in the breakout room in this week's practice, we went through the challenging scenarios and we got to one which was the it was one in which um somebody raised how they had problems with homeless people and how they were dirty and so on and so forth. Um, in this practice, I actually played this character, and I kind of got into it, and we were going through it in the group, and it got a little out of hand. I mean, I was kind of like almost wanting to lead an insurgence in this character. It felt very strange for me to kind of do this. We were kind of seeing where this went. And at the end of it, I certainly felt like, gosh, I just don't really know quite how to. Yeah, I'm wondering what the steps would be to manage a situation like that.
So, all right, are you the group leader?
In this, well, I think the question I have is if I were to be the group leader, like how would I
Okay.
manage that? And I've got some ideas, but I'm grateful for the chance
And
to.
this is a group where you're discussing the kind of social problems that people face. Is that correct?
I suppose so. The scenario doesn't really explain that.
Um, I'm not completely clear of the situation. Um, here you are experimenting what it's like to feel like a homeless person. Okay. What makes you do that in the group?
Oh, sorry, I'll explain it a bit clearer. So in the practice for this week in our groups,
MMT groups, right?
yeah, we were given scenarios to play out, like the difficult situations to
I
confront.
see.
And
And
actually, the character that I played wasn't a homeless person, but somebody who took issue with homeless people
okay.
and then raised that in the group.
Yes.
And so the question is, I think
Got it. Got it.
yeah, yeah. So
Now,
mm,
all right. First of all, this is a great question because you're talking about how people get triggered, and for some people, seeing homeless people will trigger them and they can do all kinds of things. Maybe their childhood was horrible and they were starved in the basement or winter and they see homeless people and they say, hey, listen, they could go two ways. They could be very sympathetic, or they might say, I don't want anything to do with that. It's unresolved. I don't want to go near it. Or whatever their beliefs are. Maybe they have the belief everybody should pick themselves up by their bootstraps. Or maybe it's more that they're younger and it's like, oh, they smell and they're dirty. And I don't want to be around, like a kid would say, I don't want to be around somebody who's dirty and smelly. And even as I say it, you can feel the pain in
yeah,
that this person actually has a lot of pain. So then you're saying, what do we do with that when that comes up in the group? Is that correct?
that's right.
Yeah. So, again, there's a little bit of a crowdsourcing thing that might be helpful where you ask in the group, um, how many of you resonate in some way or other, um, or experience some suffering when you encounter homeless people? And it might be that it's hard to be with them, like that person, or it might be, you get overwhelmed. See how many hands go up. And then you ask the group and you say, what are the things that help you? Here you are on the street, and there's this person who's been drinking and sitting on the sidewalk disheveled. Here you on the street with this homeless or a homeless family. Um, what has this group learned that's really helpful? So that's one thing, because some people will say, oh, here, hold them in compassion. Here, why don't you take a pause? Maybe someone will say, if you get overwhelmed, back off and go on the other side of the street and realize that this is something that's not right for you to do right now, or you may, and the group will come up with things. Um, what would be really helpful then is if you would say to the group what it's like for you and say, when I, see a homeless family, my heart breaks. I also judge myself for not doing enough. I feel like I should go live on the streets, or I feel like I'm angry at the government because they're not doing what they should, whatever it happens to be. But make yourself real with the group. And then they realize, and then you can say, and I'm holding all this, the suffering and my response and compassion. How does that sound?
Yeah, yeah. I think both of those things really land. And I think really just being here present with what's coming up for me in the situation that this person is describing, like you just described, what's come
Yeah,
to when I encounter a homeless person,
yeah.
dropping into that, and then, like you said, like that gives the permission for everyone else to brings the temperature down and everyone else to feel into their experience as well. I think
And
my anxiety was about how other people might get triggered and it might turn into like a conflict, like you can't say that, this kind of thing.
yeah, and if that happens, you can say, hey, there are all kinds of things that we feel and even say, and it's okay. We can, because it's important that we honor it or we don't know how to work with it. So you welcome it, like I did in that last session, say, okay, turn and say, oh, this is useful for us. And it's totally fine to feel anxious also. Like you're in charge. You're not really, but you've got to pretend you are, and they have to pretend you are too. So close your eyes just for a second and see where this leaves you right now. What do you notice?
I noticed the sense of dropping into it, dropping into my experience, dropping into the experiences of everyone there, and really the beauty in that.
So feel that there's something really beneficial and you know how to do it. This is like reminding you, okay, when stuff happens like this, I can drop into it. And actually notice if when you do that, it's actually a little exciting, like, oh, there's something juicy happening and we can practice it. See if there's any excitement in it. I don't know.
There is, yeah, there is.
Right. So it turns it from being something that's horrible is going to happen to, oh, we have to hold this. We don't want to avert our gaze. And we also have to share how we do this. How can we do it? I'll tell you mine and you tell me yours, what works. And some of you say you can't tolerate it. And that's okay. What's it like in you to not be, it's that painful for you? Okay. So you're teaching people the bigger gift of mindful loving awareness itself. It's big enough to hold the 10,000 joys and the 10,000 sorrows. How are you doing?
Yeah, great.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back to London sometime in the next year or so. Maybe I'll see you there. Okay, great.
Yeah, enjoy your trip.
Thank you. Let's see who's next.
How about Cecilia?
Thank you, Mackie. Hi, Jack.
Hi, so where are you?
I am actually in Inverness, close to Spirit Rock in
Oh,
California.
nice. Have you lived there a long time?
Almost 3 years now, but I've been this has always been my happy place for the last few decades.
Yeah, West Marin is wonderful. Really is beautiful.
So magical,
Yeah.
magical.
So,
Um,
so tell me.
thank you, Jack. I work with leaders in organizations, mostly doing human resources and org development, but I am about to move into a new field where I think it's very relevant, where I want to help leaders in organizations implement and deploy AI into their organizations. And
Okay.
I am using mindfulness as an anchor for this human-centered strategy of AI deployment. And given your little update to us about your meeting with the Dalai Lama about I was wondering if you had anything you could share um, for me in this effort, in my attempt to essentially preserve humanity in the age
Yes.
of intelligence.
Well, it's a beautiful question. And there are fortunately a lot of people asking it. There aren't that many people who have practical answers yet, which is interesting. I talk to AI leaders and yes, we want it to be humane. Can you train it? Well, we're trying to figure that out. So I just want to honor because AI is a big movement in the society now and it's growing. The question is an important one. And the concerns you carry are important and that they carry. So maybe the first thing is to honor the fact that they're carrying something really important. And it's not just about deploying okay, here's a new program, here's a new way to work, but you share what many people are doing. Now there's a department at Oxford and a group in, DC and Stanford and so forth, all looking at humane technology. How do we do it? But you want to say, you're part of this group. Nobody has the answer yet, right? And that's hard to tolerate. And then the next thing you can do or say is, what will help you is the very things we're going to be practicing, which is the capacity to step back with mindfulness, with a kind of spaciousness, and not be too reactive or frightened and so forth. And the other thing that will help you is stay connected with the values of your heart. What are the things in your heart that are most important to you, to your children, to the society, to the earth? And every day, before you even go out to do the work with AI, quiet yourself and remember what are the deepest values? What's the most beautiful intention you can bring to this? And this isn't solving it. And they may not be able to solve it completely, but if they tune in to their deepest value, then when they meet with others on their teams, or they have to deploy things, they can pause and say, what are those values again? Oh yeah, how do we do this in a humane way? So this is a beginning of an answer to your question. How does it land?
Um, very much aligned with how I've started working on this and creating this framework, and I really attribute a lot of it to this course and this group and everything that I've been learning. So I've been combining what I'm learning here along with what I'm learning with that same Stanford group probably that you're referring to. And it's really such a contrast in terms of just the whole concept of artificial intelligence and how fast that brain of that artificial intelligence works versus humanity, and like there's so much more to it than just brain. And so I feel like this whole what we're doing here as a community is so essential to really maintaining, like you said, alignment with our values as we move on to this new age of intelligence, and really that way to preserve our humanity.
So, okay, close your eyes for a moment. I'll give you an image. I forget where it was, Google or Facebook, one of the giant places working with executives at the top. And we were in a glass conference room, and the vice presidents were around in their rooms. And I lit a candle. And I said, before we can have our conversation of the development of what we're going to do, I just want to light this candle and let it be a symbol of your most beautiful intention, your highest intention. Let's all just tune into that for 30 seconds or a minute for what we're going to do together. And let that be an undercurrent of our conversation, what that intention and that highest or best intention is. And if you feel like it, you can even put a word in the room that's part of it. And people might open their eyes and say, humane or compassion or non-harming or whatever. And then all of a sudden the group feels like, all right, we're aligned with this. Now let's turn to how we deploy this. And I mean, that could be your signature move. They might say she's weird, but we know that anyway, so it doesn't matter. It won't hurt to light a little tea candle, because it represents our humanity, really our human spirit, and we're in dialogue with the technology. Or you can light the candle and then put your phone next to it and say, this is a conversation we're having. How does this land?
Yeah, thank you. It's very reassuring that you and that there is an effort here to really have technology and humanity work together, as it seems to be a wave we can't really fight.
Yeah, and then, keep don't know mind. You can say, we don't know yet. We don't have the answers, but we can set our values and we can stay present. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so much. Glad to see you. See you. Okay, let's have one more.
How about Miriam?
Great. Miriam.
Hi. Just a second. Hi.
Hi, Miriam. Where are you?
I'm in Bogota, in Colombia.
In Bogota. Wonderful.
Yes, and this is the first time I'm going to talk to you. I have taken several courses with you, and this is the first time, so I'm nervous. I'm very nervous, but okay.
I'm so pleased.
Okay, thank you. No, I have a question, and
Yeah.
yeah, the thing is, how do you handle when people start speaking about, like these theories of reptilians and Anunnaki and extraterrestrial beings and all these far out theories for me? I mean, I have read about it. Are you familiar with those theories? I mean, have you heard about reptilians and what do you call it, Illuminati and all these
Oh, the Illumina and all these ideas about who's running the world and where we're going.
exactly,
So
yeah.
what kind of group are you in that has this?
No, in this moment, I mean, I used to be for several years, like 20, 15 years or something. I was teaching Buddhism in Spanish-speaking countries in the
Yes.
context of Tibetan
Right.
group I belong to. And I don't do it anymore. I plan to do it later. And at that time, it was easy because, I mean, I said, no, this is only Buddhism. But now I want to be more open, but at the same time, how do I handle that? Because I mean, sometimes it gets on and on and on, and I'm like, I mean, what can I do?
All right. So there are two questions here that I'm listening to from you, both really valuable and important. What do you do when people start to take over the group and want to teach you about the Illuminatis or the walk-ins from other stars who are turning people into, star beings, or the Atlantis, or whatever is some group of people who are controlling the world, right? And either bad or good. So that's one question, right?
Yes.
How do you deal with that? And then, well, we'll start with that. Where do you run these groups? I want to get a picture.
No, I mean, I used to do it, and now I don't do it anymore, but I want to do it again.
So you would run it as a Buddhist teaching group.
No, now I want to do like more like mentoring. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Buddhist myself, so, but
Yeah, so, okay. You
and I
want to
don't want
do,
to be like only Buddhism, I mean, like.
yeah, that's good. I'm not only Buddhism either. I'm very interested in other things. So first of all, I just tuning into your intention. You have something good to offer people. You want to teach them how to be present, how to be mindful, how to be compassionate. Is that right?
Exactly.
How to tend their own mind. So the first thing is to feel that good intention and then to set a very clear, it's almost like you set the table and you say, when we work together, these are the things I want to offer and want us to explore together. How we hold this world and our lives in compassion, how we offer, wisdom or respect for things, how we can be present and not lost in our reactivity. Those are the things we're going to be doing. Now, I know many of you have also other practices or stories. Some of you might be Catholics, all right? Some of might be Protestant or Jewish, Muslim. Some of you might be Rastafarian. Some of you might be, tracking the Illuminati and you name them. And you say, these are all like different religions and views in the world, and we respect that you have them. That's not what we're going to focus on here. So you really set it up from the beginning. Um, you know, and whatever it is that you have in your background as a person with a Catholic background or a person who has a New Age point of view or something, the tools of learning how to tend your heart, how to be present with compassion, how to listen deeply to yourself and support others, how to stay steady and calm. We need those very, very much. And so let's learn to practice these together, whatever you're going to be teaching. And so by naming the other things from the beginning, you kind of you detoxify them because you name and you say, okay, we acknowledge this, but this is not what we're doing. What we're doing is something that's more a practice of the heart. And then you say, okay, close your eyes to the whole group, and you could too, and say, you know, when you get quiet and tune into your heart and listen, what are your deepest values as a human being? And if people give voice to that, mine is, respecting each other or love or and compassion or, freedom or whatever. Now the room is set for a different kind of listening. Sarah, let's take these values. Here's how you work with it. How does this sound to you?
I mean, very wise. It sounds perfect, and I mean, it gives me some cues to work with those guiding
Yes,
theories.
thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad you're there in Colombia. So glad, and that you're doing this work. And you today, I mean, talking with you, but actually, through the course of this session, part of what I've really enjoyed, love talking with you and talking with, you know, Miriam and Ben and everybody, Katrina, is that we're really talking about skillful means and pedagogy. It's not like, okay, now we're all going to meditate together, but how, as a leader, um, can you hold the divisions among humans and teach people how to be present for one another and remind them, of have them remember what their best values are. And this kind of teaching of pedagogy of how to do this is actually very nourishing and inspiring to me and hopefully to you. Because I want people, in this training and group to start to feel a confidence in yourself that you know how to do this. And it's okay. And the conflict will come, and that's all right. You can pause, you can take a breath, you can name it. Okay, here it is. Isn't this great? Now we get a chance to practice. Let's hold this in compassion. Let's invite the wisest of the group to speak, or the wisdom of the group. And you start to realize that you have these great tools, and they're the very things that people need. So thank you. And with this, I kind of look at all of you on the screen. And I feel a gratitude that you're doing this training. Thank you. We put it together and worked on it and so forth. We hoped it would be of value. Um, and I kind of think it is. I mean, some of you might not feel that, and that's okay too. But I think for most of us, and for Tara and myself and those of us who taught it, it's like, here's some treasures that we share as human beings. Let's remind each other and remind each other how we can practice and work together. So let's just take 30 seconds of quiet. And if you keep your eyes open, you can do a little loving kindness metta for all those little faces on the screen in front of you. Pick a few and just send them, good energy and love and care. Nice. Yeah. May you be well and safe. May you be happy, protected. how sweet it is to wish for them, and then they look back at you and they wish the same for you. Each of you be safe, protected, well, and happy. Thank you, and see you around, as they say. Bye-bye. Thanks, Mackie, for taking care of this.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to unmute if you want to say any last words and goodbyes.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jack.
everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
Mackie.
Thank
you. Thanks, Jack.
Everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Julia.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Marcia. Bye, Brenda.